you should know. Be artistically rigorous. Thematically and technically structure the shit out of it. So you want to be super duper prepared in terms of how you're presenting your act. So this is your 5 steps to an emerging production. So this is like basically a really stripped back fundamentals. A litmus test to your show. So a litmus test is basically stripping away different factors. So for example, I've got a fire act. And in that fire act, I use Lyco. In that fire act, I have a crown and a backpack and everything like this. A litmus test on myself for that show, for example, would be, does the show still stand if I remove the Lyco? Is it still good enough? Does the show still stand if I remove the crown? Will my circus skills still hold the show together if I remove the glitzy glamour outfit that I'm wearing? If I put myself in a normal outfit, will it still stand if I remove the lighting? I literally would love you guys to, when you've produced the show, do that litmus test, take away different sections of it and see if it still holds. Is it still strong enough if you take away the razzle dazzle? And if it isn't, how can you make it stronger? Be willing to tear it apart and piece it back together again. So get ferocious with your acts, because the only way that you are going to challenge yourself is by being fierce with how you are producing yourself. And that means be fucking ruthless. So if there's an act that you're producing and you really want to be cutting edge, you have to do that extra. You can't just write a show and go, this is okay now, fuck it, fine. You want to be ruthless. You want to be the one that goes, okay, I've actually looked at this for a solid 40 hours and I've rebuilt it 5 times. Can it get any better? No. That's the point that you want to be at, not the, oh, that'll do point, okay? Start small and grow big, pun intended. Yes. Circus is still young. We have a lot to prove. So I wrote a little note for that one. So it is 1782. Is a guy called Astley in Paris who's created the first ever in-house circus. And then, referring to my notes, is the 1826 is the first ever big top. So in terms of showmanship and actual industry that we have, we're a baby. We are a baby. So, you know, a lot of it was done as something which was not as mainstream in terms of circus. There's a really cool Netflix series all about circus. I would definitely say check it out. You see the history of it. It's pretty fucking shambolic. Okay, cool. So, because we're young, we have a lot to prove, which means that you are going to need to present yourself very, very, very well so that you are respected in an industry where you might want to sell yourself to clientele that's funding you. So if you're looking for things like council funding, please, please, please make sure that you've done all of your research in terms of your tech, your risk assessments, your method statements, and understanding your acts. Okay, build a reputation. How do you want to be known? And work backwards. That works for a life lesson as well. How do you want to be remembered? And work backwards from there. So do you want to be remembered as somebody that was shocking, funny, dark, twisted, comedy? What is it? Work backwards from there, okay? Be accessible. Make your tech realistic and the cost of the act affordable should you want to be in a wider demographic. So depending on who you want your clientele to be, we've got, just this season alone, from 2 contracts, I booked 382 performers. But this is because we have got a cost-effective show. Because we can offer that to people, that means that we've got a cost-effective show, and it is paying people's rent month in, month out. So you want to be thinking of, do I want to do 1 show a month, or do I want to be in loads of different cities doing loads of different projects? What do you want from your career? And pay yourself and put your pay structure in as such. Okay. Two examples. An hour-long show that fits into the back of a van with a well-executed theme versus 12-person show, 4 aerial apparatuses, loose concept, no track record. Like, this is where you want to be at. Am I going to be able to sell myself to a client? And how will I be able to sell myself to a client? Is it something that they're going to be able to afford to have me on tour with my 12 people and my 4 aerialists? Or is it something that I can deconstruct and have me and my 3 mates and we go on tour in a van? What kind of a show do you want to produce? Both are achievable. One is more challenging, okay? So just think about how you want to start. So that's how I'm saying start small, grow big. Okay, so that's that. I've got 3 examples that I've found which are really, really cool. Water on Mars, really cool for juggling. Any jugglers amongst us? They're fucking insane. Bromance, which is touching upon how males connect with one another and how society says you can't hug a man if you're a man and all this shit. So that was a cool one with Serial and Acro. And Airplay, which is all about how different things are lifted up using air and how you can move as part of the air. And it's all about childlike wonder. All of those 3 shows are under 5 people and they all fit in a van. Like all of them. So not all of them together, but each show. I'd be fucking crowded as shit. Okay, so impeccable materials. This is fundamental, putting the fun back in, fundamental. So, tech riders, how should they look and what should they include? You want to have a square footage to rigging requirements, to lighting, everything. So your tech rider will be your risk assessment, your method statement, and all the things in between. So it will be your lighting requirements, your SFX requirements, everything you need from the moment you step foot inside the venue. Actually, before you step foot inside the venue, it's everything you need from loading bay times to load out times, okay? Specific to what you require. Cool. Press packs. Has anybody discussed press packs with you yet? No. Fucking love press packs, especially if they're really sexy and jazzy. So put them into a PDF and have them in a Google Drive because everyone seems to be on it with Google Drives. If there are clients that don't understand a Google Drive, then go into Dropbox as well. So quotes, putting your fees, it's a very scary bastard thing to do, putting your fees into a press pack, I know. But if you understand the client well enough, the number one thing that you would fucking hate if you went into Tesco's and asked for a loaf of bread was somebody to go, yeah, but it depends on the bread. And it depends how long you want the bread, and it depends on what shape of the bread, and it depends what color and texture of the bread you want, and da-da-da-da. All these fired questions back, it is fucking inane. So number one thing is if you can do a quote, it is actually more accessible from a client's perspective to have a quote there, and then they're more likely to book you 100%. So have 100 words in your blurb. Try not to be too wordy. High-res images a la Gemma's lesson. So she talked you through high-res content and how to create that, how to obtain that. So that is 100% where that content is going to go. You want something called a sizzle reel, which is under 30 seconds. Inside info, hardly anybody ever watches more than 30 seconds. So if you've done a show reel and it's more than 30 seconds, can you cut it down? Because every moment that person's eye is on your show reel, you want them to be wow, okay? So do not lose a booking based off of a long video. Yo.
In your sizzle reel, would you have literally like every look or every skill you do just like, look at me, this is all the different characters I can play and like...
Yeah, it depends if you're going in for a particular look. So if you've applied for something specific to your fox look, for example, you want just a fox in your sizzle reel. But if you're going, here's me, here's everything I do, please book me for any ongoing work, put in the best of the best, the creme de la creme in your 30 seconds. Cool. Trailer movie is a 3-minute long one. So if you piqued their interest in your 30-second one, that means they have the option to go on and watch the 3-minute long one. So rather than shoving 3 minutes down their throat, No one likes that. Go for a sizzle reel first as a bit of foreplay and then your trailer movie. So, website. Wonderful, wonderful websites I've been looking at today ahead of this talk. So, for example, the Water on Mars guys, beautiful website. Do check it out. It is so simplistic. It is just a homepage, a video, and a contact. You don't need anything else. Don't over elaborate what you need to keep simple, because more than one click is boring for somebody on a website. Collaborate. So this is actually fucking important. So how most people get anywhere in this world is who you know. And I don't know if anybody else has said this to you throughout this course. It is about who you know. I do not do any sales. I do not put out any projects. I don't do anything like that. Everything I've done so far has been word of mouth. Work with people who are somebody that you know will get you an advance, for example, in terms of learning a skill. Say you're working with somebody that has got a higher skill set than you. You're working with them and you're going to learn things from them and you're going to network and you are going to meet people. So every gig that you're going to be on, there might be someone there that wants to book you. So presentation is everything, and how you introduce yourself and how you behave on a show, even if you think somebody's not looking, they are looking. So just be aware of that, be mindful, and present yourself well and be kind, because it is a long job and we work at night and it sometimes can be very tiring, so be kind. Okay, make a difference. What difference does your show make? Why do audience need to see your show? Ask yourself these questions from the get-go. Don't just go, I've got a cool thing that I'm going to do, let me just do it. How are you going to engage with the audience? When you're doing your cool thing, why will they relate to your show? How will they relate to your show? If you can't give an answer that piques the interest of a client in under 20 seconds, you need to get more specific. So if you're talking to a client and you've only got a limited time, say you're meeting somebody in an event, you've got 20 seconds to tell them exactly what you fucking do. If you can't pique that person's interest like that, you need to find out how better you can word and how better you can present what it is that you do. Don't just say, I do hoop. Like, you've got to say, I do some immersive thing with a massive ring, like something interesting. Keep it fun. So don't do that. Okay, so these are some quotes from the other shows, the Walking on Water and the Airplay shows. This show teaches people how to embrace risks in their everyday lives. This show is about how intimate relationships are scary and how we deal with that fear. This show can remind anyone of the wonder and awe they felt as children. This show is about what happens when different cultures clash and how we learn to work together. So all really powerful statements, all really powerful meanings. If you're producing a show, what do you want as a powerful meaning? Or what do you want as a funny meaning? What do you want as a scary meaning? Find out what your narrative is.